As I've mentioned before in the last video, your brain keeps firing and wiring the same circuits it is used to over and over again if you do not make a conscious effort to change. This leads you to repeat the reactions you have to the external world, your children included. If, for instance, you are often with your children in circumstances that really test your nerves, who isn't? And you start to feel that tension in the body to the point you no longer hold it and let it come out in a yell or two, that kind of behavior will continue to happen unless you put in some work for things to be different. As your brain is designed to keep you protected, all the situations in which you feel threatened, it turns on its survival mechanism. Concerning parenting and teaching, although this might sound awkward, this is exactly what takes place in autopilot mode that you are even not aware. Because children really defy us, don't they? I know. It seems we are always on the edge of the cliff. But let me ask you something. Who puts us there? Who puts you on the edge of the cliff? Your children or yourself? Think about it for a while. You see, inside the brain, your mind that literally lives to control everything has a collection of recurrent behaviors that act like barriers, not letting you see things from a different perspective, nor to find creative solution and build new approaches. Some of these mind barriers are limiting beliefs and stories, exaggerated fear, negative mindset, excess stress, disempowering habits, and lack of emotional control. I talk about all these mind barriers in the next videos. The thing is, your mind is constantly imagining scenarios, trying to predict what is coming, driving you to behave in a certain way. Let me give you an example. Your 12-year-old daughter Alice calls you asking for permission to leave school because she's not having the English class and wants to go with some friends to the park. What comes to your mind at that very moment? Things like, "Of course not! She has to cross the street. Is she crazy?" Or, "What are these kids going to do to the park anyway? I don't even know them." What if something bad happens? This is your mind, creating those barriers I've told you before. In this particular case, you are creating your story about what will happen, in which you let fear take the main part. Therefore, you start to stress about a common situation that would have come to you sooner or later. And by the way, your answer to your daughter is, "No, you cannot go to the park." Now, I want you to do an exercise with me. What could be an alternative mind talk? Could you think of something more empowering instead? Like, "Okay, she's 12. It's about time to gain some autonomy. Oh boy, this hurts." Or, "The park is not so far away from the school, and she's going with a group, which is good." Yeah. If something happens, they have each other. Maybe I can trust her. What has changed? The situation is still the same, but you were able to look at it through a different lens. Now you can create a matching approach and at the same time set some rules, such as, "I'll meet you at the park 1 hour from now. Don't leave the place until I get there." Or, "With what friends are you going? Give me at least one contact. of a friend and his mother or father about crossing the street. Instead of saying what you want her to do, you ask her, "Okay, Alice, tell me, how are you going to cross the street?" You can even say something like, "Okay, Alice, let's play a little game. If you give me the right answer, you go to the park. If not, stay in school." And what is your child building up when you apply these effective education empowering strategies? She's building her self-confidence, autonomy, a better communication and relationship with you. And she's building the courage to be herself and to be honest. And a lot more, since she will be learning from a new experience without her parent. So, what I want to point out here is that you must be aware of your mindset patterns and the responses you give to your children. The goal here is to recognize that there are other more resourceful ways of doing things that can help you leverage your life and the quality of the relationship you have with your children. To your success, Isa.